Hello, weekenders, and welcome to our February date night idea here in Greenville, South Carolina.
We are here this morning to do a walking dessert tour of our hometown. So this is good for a date night. This is good for a Valentine's Day idea for you guys. We're going to put a link down in the description if you're interested, but come along with us as we taste some great desserts.
Come on. All right, so the spoon bread, I didn't realize the full history of the Poinsett Hotel, and it was really cool to hear about that. Some of the things, like she told us about a vault. One of the bathrooms is actually built into the old vault, which was kind of neat. I'm not the biggest fan of carrot cake, but I would definitely eat that carrot cake again. It was delicious. It had a very good cream cheese frosting. I enjoyed I think they were walnuts. We weren't 100% sure, or we can't remember exactly, but it was delicious overall. I ate every last bite of that one and could have finished Breeze if we weren't going to 2 more stops afterwards. So
the carrot cake at Spoon Bread was surprisingly good. I like carrot cake to begin with, but this one had a really good spice cake in it. You could see pieces of carrot in the cake, and it had just normal cream cheese icing. The one thing I didn't love about this carrot cake was there was some kind of nuts mixed in with the icing. So if you have a nut allergy or anything like that, please keep that in mind. I don't love nuts in my cakes, so that was probably the one big turn off for the carrot cake, but overall, it was delicious.
If y'all are interested in taking this tour for yourselves, we're going to go ahead and put a link in the description for you guys, so go ahead and check it out.
So the next stop, Maestro's, if you're downtown, if you know where the TD Bank is, the really old historic bank downtown, and then Nosedive Grill or bar or whatever it is, it's kind of right in between there. You have to go inside to part of the lobby of the financial center. But it was a really cool looking restaurant. It's definitely somewhere we're going to try to go back and try just as for a full dinner, not just for dessert. But they did give us the chocolate espresso martini. I gotta be honest with you though, I can drink some mixed drinks, and I do enjoy some mixed drinks. I don't like vodka or gin, and a martini's always got vodka or gin in it, so not my favorite. But it was you could tell it was well made. It just wasn't for me. So the cake there, I'm gonna say something that I rarely, if ever, say. It was almost too decadent. When they first brought it out, blueberries on a chocolate peanut butter cake, I was like, what the heck is going on here? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. They were much needed though, and I'm not a big blueberry fan, but they really kind of broke up some of the decadence of that chocolate ganache and the peanut butter. I think it was a peanut butter cream or ganache or something too. It was delicious, and the blueberries really kind of made it work. But I would say if you're going out and you're going to try this, maybe split it. Probably the only dessert you ever hear me say split it. But I definitely want to try the restaurant.
The chocolate peanut butter cake at Maestro's Bistro and Supper Club, this was probably my second favorite out of the 3 stops. I'm not a big chocolate and peanut butter sweets person. I don't love peanut butter in with my desserts. This cake was so rich and so moist, and the blueberries added a nice acidity with it, but it wasn't sticking to the roof of my mouth. The ganache all over it was really, really good. And then we also had a chocolate espresso martini. Now, you guys know I'm not a big drinker. And I also don't drink coffee, so this one, I did taste it. It's not my favorite just because it did have that espresso flavor in it, but I could still tell that it was made really well by the bartender, and it complemented the cake really, really well. It added some creaminess that you didn't have with the rest of the cake. So, number 2 for sure. I want to talk about our tour guide, Faye, a little bit, because for me personally, I think she made this tour. It was a dessert food tour that was supposed to be the main attraction of what we were doing for the day. But for me, Faye brought so much passion and history and knowledge to this tour that I think, honestly, it just took it up a whole nother level. I've lived in Greenville for my entire life, and Faye moved here from Italy, she said 3 years ago. And for someone to have only been here 3 years and be that passionate about our hometown and to know things that I had no idea about our town was really, really impressive to me. So I think for me, Faye is what really made this tour as great as it was. The food was delicious, don't get me wrong, but I think her hosting and telling the stories of not only the restaurants, but the chefs and history of Greenville just made it extra special for me and really made that price tag absolutely worth it.
All right, so the next stop on the tour, we continued up the street towards Mass General Store in the Clemson building, but we stopped at Bonjour on Main, and this did turn out to be the final stop. There was a really neat story about the backstory of the restaurant and how it all came together and how the owner got to America and started up with this restaurant. But definitely, hopefully, Faye will tell you about that if you guys take the tour. There we had the Main Street crepe, so to speak. It was an almond cream cheese mousse on the inside with strawberries, served with Prosecco that had a citrus liqueur inside of it, or added to it, and some blueberries. I gotta be honest, this wasn't my favorite stop. I didn't think it was bad, but it was, I don't know, it just wasn't my favorite thing. I can't say anything negative about the food or the drinks or anything, and I definitely would like to go back and try some of the savory crepes, maybe even some of the other sweet crepes, or some of the other stuff on the menu. They've really expanded their menu in the last couple of years, but I think you'll hear Bree say about how this is her favorite. Probably my least favorite, but that's not saying bad thing. That's like saying it was third place and, when everything could have been first place, so.
All right, so my favorite of all of the stops was at Bonjour Main for the Main Street crepe. The almond cream inside of this crepe, I can't even describe it with enough justice. But it was so smooth. It wasn't too sweet, so paired with the crepe and the strawberries on top, the gel was just dynamite. I would go back and eat this over and over and over again. And the Prosecco on the side, I think, added a really nice additional flavor to it. The tour guide, Faye, did tell us that she adds some type of orange or citrus to her Prosecco. I could taste it, and I thought that was really good. But again, not a huge Prosecco fan, but I think the citrus added a nice touch to it.
Thank you all so much for watching the video today. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and give us a like or leave a comment if you have any questions below. Also, we'd love to see you subscribe to the channel. If you liked the tour and are interested in purchasing it for yourself, we are going to go ahead and leave a link in the description for you guys to purchase your own. But with all that being said, have a great weekend, y'all. We'll see you next time.